Hey brewers, we're back, another FuF here for you. We're gonna talk about something I've recommended to a lot of people over the years, but I've never actually tried doing. So I've gotten people saying it works very well and they've done it a lot of times, but I'm like, maybe I should try this before I tell anyone else. So you got a Brewzilla. You need beer, you need a quick brew day, and you also need to make a lot of beer. You got a party coming up, are you f***ed up? Kegs are all empty. I don't have 10 hours to brew 2 batches. What are we gonna do? Because these are designed for your 5 or 6 gallon batch, right? Wrong. If you do extract brews, so you know you got your grain to glass kits, we can buy our extract or partial mash versions, and you have your all grain versions. Well, if we do a partial mash version, it's designed around a 3 gallon boil minimum. So what we're gonna do is a 6 gallon boil, a double batch, and then top it up with bottled water in the fermenter. And bam, we got 2 batches in about 2.5 hours. Like the sound of that? I sure f***ing do. So what are we brewing today? We're brewing our Canadian ale. I'm sure a lot of y'all have done it. And the best part about this is it's even quicker. There's no steeping grains. I already got it up to 150. For our water, I put 1 milliliter of lactic acid just to get our water pH where we want it to be. Put a teaspoon of chloride just to bring that up. So this is gonna be just our basic, nice little Canadian ale, everybody beer. We got Pilsen DME, we got Golden Light DME, and we got dextrose. So it's gonna be just sort of like a macro lager, but as an ale. So without further ado, I already got it at 150. Let's stir in our DME and wait for a boil. That's how simple this brew is. I'm probably gonna dry hop one of them because you know we like the hops. But other than that, 2 batches, 2.5 hours, let's go. So the reason why we're only doing 2 is we don't really wanna be much more than a 7 gallon boil because then we're gonna overflow. Something just dawned on me. I could put the extender on here and we could have a little bit more head space. We're just gonna use some firm cap this time, but I might even try and do a triple one in the future with the extender, but that's another video for another day. Wow, these scissors are awesome. Come on, man. All right. Slow and steady wins the race. It's a little nipply here in the shop. I don't know if you can see, I'm perky. And I've made this beer many a time. It's one of our most popular kits. Like, if you just want beer, that no one's gonna look at you funny. Oh, is that one of those IPAs? Usually those people, I'm just like, bring your own. But it does feel nice to have your beer drank by some other people sometimes, doesn't it? Being a quote unquote pro brewer now, I get my fill of that, so. I just want to show you how quickly you can make good beer fast. And like, if it's too boring for you, throw a massive dry hop at it, which is what I'm gonna do to one of these. One other pro tip, I always thought that this kind of stuff would stir in better if I was near or already at boil. Not the case. DME stirs in better at lower temperatures. That's why I stopped it at 150, which is also where we would normally stop it to do our steeping grains. And don't be afraid of partial mash brewing. I know a guy who's won a shitload of medals. He does all grain now, but for years and years, all he did was extract. Every beer started with super light DME, whether you're doing a stout or a lager. So I often tell people, I'm like, if you just want good beer, cheap, stick with extract. If you like, recipe creation and the act of brewing, maybe you have some friends who do it. That's where I find my all grain stuff is more, I mean, obviously the more pro side of things, but I catch myself a lot, like our smash beers, it's 6 pounds of DME and some hops and a half-hour boil. Like, you can't beat that, and it's fucking awesome. Okay, last one, and then we'll close this up, and we'll see you at boil. So another thing that I used to forget all the time when doing extract batches like this, I'd say I want a 7 gallon boil, so I'd put 7 gallons in the kettle. Well, but then I just added 12 pounds of powders. Those take up some volume as well. So as you can see, we're just under 7 gallons. So I'm gonna put a little bit of water in just to top it up to 7. But if I'd have started at 7, we'd be over 8. I started at 5.5 gallons. So something to always take into account when you're doing extract brew. All right, that baby is stirred. I'm gonna top her up just a little bit and then we'll get to boil. Hit that like and subscribe, have a pint, and we'll see you in a bit. Yo, did you see who just pissed in my pants? I was just standing here minding my own business, and all of a sudden, no, I was cleaning the fermenters and got a little excited with the hose. Whoops. Okay, and I had to change my shirt because it was much worse. Much worse. So anyway, we have 10 minutes left. Time to do the old start the you know that thing, the chiller. That's what I'm after. I need a little pail. It's basically the last thing that's gonna come out of there is the gross water from before. We don't want that. So wait till that comes out and we get some wort coming out of there. Any minute now. And there we go. We got wort. Let that rip for 10 minutes. We're gonna get our yeast nutrient, our whirl flock. That's the two things that I did not grab. Give me a sec. All right, got my whirl flock. So we're doing a 10-gallon batch. So we're gonna put a full one in there. And some nutrient, very scientific amount, about that much. All right, we'll see you in 10 for getting her into the fermenter and putting her in the magic box. Have a drink on me. So 10 minutes is up. It is time to fire up the chiller. So turn off our heat. Make sure we're using cold water, not hot water to chill with. That might help. We're gonna hook it up to our fancy new chiller. Boom. And always make sure your return hose for the hot water is, in fact, in the sink or wherever it's gonna drain. Now let's fire this baby up, and then we'll watch this sucker fly. Boom, and there she goes. So being it as this is an ale, we're gonna go down to about 18C. Fill these puppies up, then we'll top them up with our water from the store. And brew day almost done. I think, when did we start? We started at 2 p.m. It is now 3:30. I had preheated the water, so I mean, for this operation, give yourself 2.5 hours. Probably 2.5 hours by the time you set up, fill, heat your strike, and clean. Give yourself 2.5 hours for 10 gallons of beer. Not too shabby. Like, man, we're almost there already. I mean, I'm not suggesting everybody run out and drop $1,000 on a heat exchanger, but I'm certainly happy with it. Always that last few degrees. Down to 20. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and start it now because it's gonna get way too low, and then we'll even it up. So we had 7 gallons. I'm gonna have to kind of guess at where 3.5 is because the markings start at 4. Didn't really think of that. But that's okay. We like to let it cascade down the sides, get our wort aeration. And with those 2 pumps, like, this transfer is only gonna take a few minutes. I gotta say, I absolutely love this setup. I'm definitely gonna do a video for you of how I set it up. Because, I mean, you don't need the absolutely massive heat exchanger either. I mean, you could find yourself a Blickman Therminator or something along those lines. Still gonna do a great job. Not quite as fast as this beast, but a little bit more easy on the pocket. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it about there. See how they even out. Switch these up. A well aerated wort. I also like doing brew days on days where I'm kegging. So if I was doing a light beer before this, I did a dark beer, I could have repitched on top of the yeast cake. Also, like, when I just emptied these, I'm pretty satisfied that they were sanitary. Beer's not infected. So I just gave them a quick rinse and a star sand. Didn't have to do the old, soak with PBW, all that kind of stuff. Saves you a little bit of time, a little bit of money to, stagger your brew days on kegging day if you can, if you have time. Also want to do a video of how fast, when I do repitch, how fast it fires up. I mean, basically did a 21-liter starter, so should fire up within like an hour or 2. Gotta love that. If you're in a hurry for beer, which we always are. Let's kill our pumps. All right, so let's put these suckers side by side. I can already tell I put too much in the first one. So we're gonna try and match them up a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty even. About 3 gallons in each. Now let's top them up to 5.25. There we go. All right, and 20 liters on both sides. So I just realized I was supposed to put in some Willamette at flame out. Totally forgot. Luckily, this kind of beer, probably not gonna be a big deal, but it wouldn't be FuF if I didn't screw something up now, would it? We got our bitterness. We're gonna do some dry hops. Meh. And one for you, and one for you. That last one bit in there, all right. Restar sand our parts here. And into the magic box we go. Oh, I'm heading off on vacation for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna have fresh, new beer right when I get back, or 2 weeks, 1 week. So it won't be quite ready when I get back, but close. Oh. And there we have it. We'll see you in a couple weeks when we keg her up. And then for sampling, have a drink, relax, have several drinks. We'll see you soon. Okay, brewers, we're back. I know I said I was only gonna dry hop one of these Canadian ales, but I've had so many Canadian ales over the years, and I just like the hops. I just wanted to show you how to make 2 beers real fast. We're gonna come back and we're gonna try 3 with the extender, but for right now, we're just gonna put some Sabro, 2 ounces in one, and Denali or Sultana if you don't want lawsuits. If you're wondering why I'm way more tanned than at the start of this video, it's because I just spent the week in the Dominican Republic. And if you wonder why I look a little dazed and confused, that's right, we got f***ed up every single day. Beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful scenery. Beer was, it's called Presidente, and then there was Presidente Light. Owned by AB InBev, I couldn't help but look. I mean, it's, I have to say, better than Budweiser, so there's something. Let's do this. Before you get at me about letting in oxygen, etc., I don't care. I'm just trying to add some flavor to an otherwise kind of boring everybody beer. I'm not an everybody beer guy, so whatever. This Sabro, we use it in our Bat Country IPA that we sell in the liquor stores only in Manitoba. Sorry, folks. Oh, mon, that's good stuff. One thing that would have been smart, now that I'm holding these very spillable things, would be to open this first. Up the one side and in we go. Try not to drop the packs in there. And then how are we gonna tell the difference? We're just gonna put 1 pack on top. Close that up quick as possible. And there we go. Now we'll open the other one. And crack open our Denali. Also, oh mung, but in a totally different way. And that's it. We're gonna leave that over the weekend. We'll see you next week for kegging and then some tasty poos, because I've never done exactly this. So it will be a new experience. We're always like new experiences. But until then, I'm gonna have a beer. You should too. Hit that like and subscribe. If you don't like me, hit that dislike 2 times. Peace. All right, we're back. Time to keg up our Canadian ales that we dry hopped one with, I don't even remember, Denali and Sabro. That's how I do things. I just leave it on top there. Most of the time I remember to do that. So we've purged our kegs. They have 20 PSI that I'm gonna take down a little bit in there. But we're gonna do that, recycling the CO2 in the tank back into the top so we have essentially a closed transfer as close we can to it. I'd be interested to know if anyone thinks this is BS and I'm wasting my time, or what tricks do you do? I know the balloon thing, some other stuff. Like, I love me some dry hop lagers. I'm really hitting that up lately. I love my IPAs, but makes for a short night. So some lagers or Canadian ales, which is just a ale version of a Canadian lager, realistically. Let's do it. So for our recycle thingy, this goes on to the end. See, got some pressure in there. Take that off, jam it in here, jam it in there. And then we're gonna go like this. Oh, you know what would really help if I hooked up the other side to the keg, generally. Ah, look at that. Here we go. I don't think that's gonna pop out. So we're just gonna let that rip. Do you wanna watch it rip? I don't think you do. We'll be back in a second, we'll do the other one. All right, so that one's done. I just disconnected the connectors because Kev was pooping. Couldn't get that live for you, but you know. So now we're just gonna purge our headspace and get to the next one. We don't want to put 20 PSI into this thing, so there it is. And boom. So there we go. Once that's all said and done, I'm gonna purge our headspace again. And I'm taking these home because I'm out of beer. I know, right? Sad. I'm gonna put one in the house, one in the studio, and we'll do the tasting there. How's that sound? I'm gonna have a beer. You should too. Hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. All right, brewers, our favorite time of brewing, sampling time, right? In my left hand, I have the one dry hop with Sabro. In my right, the one we dry hop with Denali. I mean, it's the same wort, same amount of dry hop. They're both pretty darn clear. Nice little white head on there. She's a beaut. So, bottoms up. I love that Denali. I mean, it's like, it's subtle because it's just a little bit of dry hop over a Canadian ale that's kind of, I don't want to say boring because we sell a lot of this beer and it's good, but f***ing boring, I guess. You want to try some, Kevin? All right, now Sabro time. Cheers. You know, I think I like the Sabro a little bit better, even though I love, like, I mean, I picked two hops that I love, so, you know, whatever. But I think I'm gonna say Sabro edges it out just a little bit. Let's see if I drink it really fast, if it'll change my opinion. Nope. All right, that's it. Hit that like and subscribe, or hit that dislike 2 times, whatever you want to do. We will see you in a couple weeks. Don't get too fucked up. I'm already there. Peace.